In this tutorial series, we're going to take a look at multiple different dungeon mechanics that you can actually build in your own game. Let's get started with the first one. The first one that we're going to look at today is pressurized plates. And this is a very simple tutorial to follow. So I've created a brand new map just for the purpose of this tutorial. You're going to go to your content drawer, and then let's create a new folder to keep all of our dungeon mechanics in there. We're going to name it Dungeon Mechanics. And the first one, we're going to create a blueprint class and of type actor. We're going to name this BP underscore pressure plates. Inside of this pressure plates, we're going to add a cube. This would mimic a plate, and we're going to size this down to 0.15. Whichever size you prefer. Now, I'm using a cube just because it's accessible for everyone. You can choose to change this cube into any material of your choice. Select the cube and then click on add and also put in a box collision. And this would be our collision or trigger that would fire the function to bring the plate down when the player steps on it. I'm going to make this box collision a little bit smaller so the player actually have to be on top of the plate, not on the edges of the plate. Okay, that should do the trick. We're going to go to our event graph, and we don't need this at this time. In the begin play, we're going to grab our, we're going to rename this cube to plate. We're going to grab our plate here, and then we're going to say get world location. And we will set this as a promote to a variable. Name this plate location. Next, right click on this collision, and you're going to say add event, component begin overlap. In here, we're going to check if it is the player who's actually overlapping it. To do that, we're going to go ahead and say cast to third person character. And off of the third person character, we want to do a quick delay. We don't want a plate to start moving while the player is still moving. We just want to do a very small delay here. Like a 0.2 is perfect. And we're going to create something called a timeline. And we're going to name this timeline called plate movement. And we're going to double click on the timeline and you will get a timeline like this. Press this plus button on the track and add a float track. On the 0 line right here, we're going to right click and say add a curve float. You just need to update the time to 0 so it's exactly at 0. And then you're going to go to 1 second timer. Again, you can choose to have the plate go down 2 seconds, 3 seconds, however long you would like. I'm going to do it so that the plate goes down exactly. It takes 1 second to go down. So I'm going to right click on this 1 and I'm going to add another float. Again, this is 1.023. I'm just going to update this to 1. And the value, we want the plate to go down by 10. So if I update this location by -10, you will notice that the plate goes down a decent amount. In your game, you can choose to make it go higher or lower. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to make this into -10. So the plate will go down by 10 points on the z-axis. That's for the timeline. I'm going to go back to the event graph, and I want to make sure that it always plays from start. And off of this, we want to do a couple things. You got yourself, it says new track here. We can actually change this new track, rename it, and we're going to name to new Z axis. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our plate location variable that we just set earlier up here. We're going to do a get, right click on this, and we're going to say split. Once you split, you're going to split into X, Y, and Z. And I'm also going to right click and create a make vector. And the x-axis and the y-axis, we're not going to make any changes to it because the plate's only going up and down. So we're just going to do x and y as it is. And then z-axis, we're going to grab this and we're going to press add. And we're going to add it to our original z-axis. And then now I'm going to plug this in here. Grab our plate. And we're going to say set world location. And off of we're going to drag this update and connect it here. And this make vector, we're going to plug it in here. And what we want to do is once this is moved, we want to update our plate location to this new location. So if you ever want to put it back in its old position or something like that, you can always go back. So I'm going to get the plate. We need to get the plate here. And then we're going to say get world location. We're going to set this plate location. this would be off of the finished. Once we're done moving the plate, we want to get the plate's current location, and we want to set that as our new plate location. And that's it for the functionality of this code. We're going to go back to our map, drag this plate on here, and we're going to put it so that it's sitting right above the ground, so it's not below, because if it is below, then you won't really see the plate. So I'm going to put it just a little bit above the ground, so you will see it when it goes -10. So if I go ahead and press play, if I go onto the plate, you'll notice the plate will go down now by -10. And you can adjust this measurement as you see fit. I'm going to show you one more thing that you can do with this. Opening a door when all the pressure plates are stepped on. For that, we're going to need a count of how many plates you want to step on. And when player steps on all of those plates, you want the door to open. So go to your third person and blueprints, third person character, create a new variable. And we're going to say plates activated. Name it plates activated and make this into an integer type. Create a new function. And I'm going to say update plates activated. Off of here, we're going to first get the plates activated and we're going to increment it by 1. So every time a plate gets stepped on, we're going to call this function. So back in our pressure plates function, we're going to select all of these functions, move it out of the way a little bit. We want to make this third person character that we're casting to and make it into a variable. And now we can connect this here and then connect this here. Now, after the function is done running, after we move the plate and we set up our new location, we want to take our third person character reference and then say update plates activated. So what this will do is then it'll fire this function and it will add 1 plate as activated to this. Once that is done, we want to go ahead and say get all actors of class and then search the pressure plate. So what it will do is this way, if you copy and paste 10 of those plates in the map, this function will make sure that all 10 gets activated. If you don't want to do that, you can always set it to a specific number. But I'm going to do it so that if the player puts in 10 pressure plates, we want the function to check to make sure all 10 pressure plates are active before it opens the door or whatever function you want to do. So here, out of actors, I'm going to say length. This will take account of every single plate that there is. And then I'm going to drag this over here and I'm going to say equal and plug this in here. I'm going to enter a branch. And if all the players have been activated, if all the plates are activated, I want to go ahead and for the purpose of this, I'm going to just say open door. And now if I were to press play, I'm going to go step on the plate will go down. And once it goes down, it's going to update its location and it should say open door. Now I can actually duplicate this plate multiple times. So if I press Alt and I can drag this, press Alt again, drag, Alt, drag. I'm going to put another one over here. Now if I go and then if I step on this plate, it goes down, step on this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then now that all 5 of them are active, it should say, until now, it didn't say open the door. Now that all 5 of them are active, it will say open door. And that is it for the functionality of setting up this pressure plate function in your Dungeon Mechanics. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a like and leave any comments if you would like to see some changes to this functionality. There'll be more and more dungeon tutorials that I will be releasing, so feel free to press the subscribe button so you get notified as soon as the next dungeon tutorial gets released. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.